Alright everyone, welcome to another video. In this video we're going to go over why a lot of people that think they have a lockout problem with their deadlift don't actually have it. And this is something that I've seen throughout the years from lifters posting online or at powerlifting competitions looking for help with their deadlift lockout, but they're analyzing what the issue is incorrectly, and so then whatever solution they're trying to put forward isn't actually going to fix the issue. And there's something that I made a blog post about back in 2018, and I will link that into the description of this video so you can go read that if you want. Just goes over what I think the issue is and how you can go about fixing it if you like that in the text form. But I thought I'd make a video of it as well and show an old example of how I used to deadlift and how I used to have this problem, and hopefully you can kind of learn from my mistakes. So I'll kind of show the video first in real time, and then we can also do slow motion and look at what's going on. So you can see there a couple things. One, it's very quick off the ground, and then two, it's very slow at lockout. So what happens with lifters a lot of times is they'll have that issue, and so they'll go and ask like, hey, what exercise should I do to bring up whatever muscle I need to bring up, or what exercise should I do to just improve my lockout strength in general. A lot of people's go-to exercise will then be do rack pulls with a lot of weight for a very short range of motion, thinking that it'll strengthen those muscles, and then they go max out again and see that it's doing little to nothing in improving their deadlift. And some of that is the position that they're in for the deadlift is not efficient for the entire range of motion, and the other thing is the exercise they're doing, the rack pulls, is not mimicking that same position that they are doing for the deadlift. So the big thing here, you can see an extreme case here with how I used to deadlift, is that there's a very rounded back, especially in the lower back. And what this is doing is it's artificially trying to get me a more upright torso, and it's also trying to get my hips closer to the bar. So my hips are closer to the plane of the bar. It's going to be easier for my hips to do the work to pull the bar up. So if we slow this down a little bit and we do half speed, we can see from, again, like I said, from the ground, it's going to be pretty quick and up to the knees. The issue comes then is as you start getting past the knees, now your hips are fully extended. Your knees are almost fully extended. So now those muscles have done all the work they can through their range of motion, but you're not at lockout, and then you're rounded over. So now what you need to do is basically unravel your spine using the spinal erectors, or you have to support the bar on your thighs to then be able to get more of an upright torso and a straighter back to then be able to lock it out. So doing the rack pulls won't have much of an effect on this, because when you're doing the rack pulls, you're probably doing it with a straight back. You're probably doing it in a better position than you're actually going to be in when you're pulling the way that I did here. So what you really want to focus on is an efficient starting position that will help you throughout the entire range of motion, not just what's going to pull the bar off the ground the fastest. A lot of people think that way and thinking of more of a short-term solution or short-term gains. Okay, if I just keep pulling off the ground as fast as possible, it's going to seem to me that the lift is easier and be able to do more and get stronger. But long term, that's not going to be efficient. Long term, that's not going to be safe. So what you want to do is focus on having the more neutral spine in this bottom position, and your hips will be a little bit further away, and it will be a little bit harder off the ground, which will make you a little bit slower off the ground. But then you're going to be in a mechanically advantageous position once you pass the knees and bringing the hips through and locking everything out clean. So you're not going to have this big discrepancy in your range of motion as far as speed. It's going to be more consistent throughout the range of motion, and so it's going to be easier to bring up your 1 rep max by doing deadlifts and then some slight variations, which are going to strengthen the entire range of motion and let you do more weight. And like I said, again, it's going to be safer on the back if you can have a neutral spine and maintain that neutral spine throughout the lift. So hopefully this helps you out, and there's going to be a lot of different ways to attack this, but the easiest overall idea is that you have to lower the weight and start work on your technique. In this video, my max is 470 pounds, so I'm not going to be able to fix technique while also doing 470 pounds or even 450 pounds or even 420 pounds. You're going to have to take down the weight a lot and work on the technique. How much weight you have to take off just depends on where your technique breaks down. For some people, maybe they can't even do proper technique with 50%. So you first have to learn how to do the proper technique with 40% and work your way up. For some people, they might be able to get up to 70, 75, 80% of their max with good technique. And then once they get into that maybe 85% or 90% plus, that's when their technique really starts to break down. So maybe they'll just stay in that 70 to 80% range and work on their proper technique with heavier weights. That's going to ingrain the new motor pattern so that you get used to it. And it's also going to strengthen those muscles in those new positions. And then eventually you'll be able to maintain those positions with the weight that you were doing before, and then eventually with even more weight, and you'll be able to progress farther and safer with less risk of injury. All right, hope that helps you out.